My fiancée said, my $150K in student loan debt becomes our problem when we marry. I replied, a partnership is a partnership. Then I hired a forensic accountant who found she'd spent $50 on spring break and designer bags, not tuition. I forwarded the report to her parents who co-signs loans. And then I, 29, male, had my whole life planned out with Bianca, 27F. We'd been together 3 years, engaged for 6 months, wedding set for next spring. Then last week, she dropped the bomb about her student loans during what I thought was going to be a casual dinner conversation about merging finances. So, when we combine everything after the wedding, we'll tackle my loans together, she said, cutting into her salmon. Your loans. I knew she had some debt from her master's degree, but she'd always been vague about it. Yeah, the $150K. It's a lot, but that's what partnerships are about, right? Sharing burdens. I nearly choked on my water. $150,000, don't be dramatic, Trevor. Lots of people have student debt. Bianca, you told me you had some loans to pay off. This is a mortgage worth of debt. She rolled her eyes. It's from getting my MBA. You know how expensive good schools are. Here's the thing. Bianca went to a decent state school for her MBA. Good program, but not Ivy League prices. I knew because my cousin went to the same program 2 years before her. His total about $45. How is your state school MBA 3 times what it should cost? They were living expenses, books, life stuff. Life stuff. Trevor, once we're married, this becomes our debt anyway. Why are you interrogating me? The way she said our debt with such certainty, like she'd already decided my financial future without consulting me, something felt off. You're right, I said calmly. Partnership is partnership. Full transparency, right? Exactly, she smiled, relieved. Great. Then you won't mind if we go through the loan documents together, just so I understand what we're dealing with. Her face changed. That's invasive. You should trust me. I do trust you, but I also believe in understanding major financial commitments. Can you show me the loan breakdowns? They're complicated. Multiple loans, different servicers. Perfect. We'll sort through them together this weekend. She agreed, but something in her eyes told me she wasn't happy about it. That night, I couldn't sleep. Started doing basic math. State school MBA program $45 Qley. Even with living expenses, books, maybe $70 max if you were living large. Where did the other $80 Qley go? Saturday came. Oh, I can't find all the paperwork, she said. Must be at my parents' house. No problem. Let's drive over and get them. They're out of town. Bianca, your mom literally posted a photo from their kitchen an hour ago. She exploded. Called me controlling. Said I was treating her like a criminal. That if I loved her, I'd just accept this. Then she said something that made my decision for me. You make good money, Trevor. You can afford to pay these off in like 5 years. Stop being so selfish. I made $85 a year. Good money. Yeah, but not pay off someone else's mysterious 6-figure debt while also trying to live. Money. You're right. I said a partnership means sharing everything. Full transparency. I'll hire someone to help us organize all your loan documentation so we can make a payment plan. She looked relieved. She shouldn't have. Monday morning, I hired a forensic accountant. Told Bianca it was a financial advisor to help us plan for marriage. She bought it. What he found was insane. Update 1. Got the forensic accountant's preliminary findings yesterday. I'm sitting here staring at this report feeling like I never knew the person I was going to marry. Here's the breakdown. Actual tuition and fees, $48,000. Legitimate living expenses, rent, food, transport, $22,000. The other $80,000, buckle up. Spring break trips, not 1, not 2, but 5 luxury spring break trips. Cabo junior year, $8,000. Dubai, senior year, $12,000. Bali, first year grad school, $9,000. Greece, second year, $10,000. 2 looms 6 months ago while we were engaged. $7,000 designer goods, bags, shoes, jewelry, $25,000 over 4 years. Many items I've never even seen her wear. Random spending, bottle service at clubs, $5,000. Expensive dinners, $4,000. The kicker, she took out extra loans beyond what she needed for school, citing educational expenses. Then she'd deposit the money and immediately transfer it to her checking account. But wait, it gets worse. Her parents, Roberto and Diane, co-signed every single loan. They think they're on the hook for education expenses. They have no idea they co-signed for their daughter's designer bag addiction. The accountant also found something interesting. 3 of the loans were taken out after she started dating me. After she knew I had a steady job and was husband material, her friend's words in a text he found on her public Venmo transactions. I sat on this information for 2 days trying to process it. Then Bianca forced my hand. Yesterday she comes home with wedding venue brochures. I put a deposit down on the Riverside Country Club. Isn't it perfect? How much was the deposit? Just $5,000. Daddy gave it to me as an early wedding gift. Her father, who co-signed 150 callous in loans, thinking he was investing in his daughter's education, just gave her another $5. Bianca, we need to talk about your loans. Ah, not this again. I told you we'll handle it after the wedding. Actually, we won't. I pulled out the forensic report, set it on the table. Her face went white as she flipped through it. You hired someone to investigate me. I hired someone to understand what I was signing up for. And now I know this is a violation of trust. How dare you? How dare I? You lied about $80,000 in party and shopping debt. Called it education and expected me to pay it off. It is education. Those trips were networking opportunities. The bags are for professional appearance. Networking in Tulum. Professional Hermes bags that cost $15,000. She switched tactics. Started crying. I was young and stupid. Okay, but we can work through this. Couples overcome bigger problems. You're right. Some couples do, but those couples don't lie about it and then try to manipulate their partner into paying for their mistakes. So, what you're calling off the wedding over money? How shallow can you be? I'm calling off the wedding over lies and manipulation. She grabbed the report. This is private information. You had no right. I'll sue you. Sue me with what money? And that report contains only publicly available information and documents you provided to the financial advisor. She stormed out, went to her friend Jade's house. This morning, I did something that might have been petty, but honestly, her parents deserve to know. I made copies of the report, highlighted the relevant sections. Spring break trips in yellow, designer goods in pink, the actual tuition costs in green. Then I drove to Roberto and Diane's house. Update 2. Roberto answered the door. Trevor, what a surprise. Bianca's not here. I know. I actually came to talk to you and Diane. It's about the wedding and the loans. They invited me in. Diane made coffee. They were so warm, so welcoming. They loved me like a son. This was going to hurt. What's this about loans? Roberto asked. I pulled out the report. You co-signed Bianca's student loans, right? Of course. $150,000 for her MBA. It's a lot, but education is important. Did you know only $48,000 went to actual tuition? Dead silence. I showed them everything. Every receipt, every transaction, the spring break trips they thought were study abroad programs. The designer bags, she told them were gifts from friends. Diane started crying. Roberto's hands were shaking. We took out a second mortgage, Roberto said quietly. To help with what we thought were her living expenses. We gave her another $30,000 on top of the loans. She told us she was living in a small studio eating ramen. Diane whispered. We felt so bad for her struggling. I showed them her apartment receipts. Luxury building $2,500 a month. Roberto stood up, paced around. We're on the hook for $150,000. Our retirement. We delayed retirement for this. I'm sorry. I thought you should know. No, thank you. We needed to know. Roberto's voice was still now. Excuse me. I need to make a call. He called Bianca right there on speaker. "Hi, Daddy. Bianca, Trevor is here with some interesting documentation about your student loans." Silence. $46,000 on vacations. $46,000, Daddy, I can explain. Explain. Explain how you lied to us. How you used education as an excuse to fund your lifestyle. It wasn't like that. Trevor's twisting everything. Diane grabbed the phone. "We saw the receipts, Bianca. Every single one. Those were investments in myself." Investments. Roberto was turning red. "We mortgaged our house. Your mother went back to work at 65. You're being dramatic. Get home now. I'm at Jade's. I'll come by tomorrow. Now, Bianca, or I'm calling the loan companies and reporting fraud. You wouldn't try me." She hung up. Roberto looked at me. "Thank you for telling us this. This changes everything." I left them the report and went home. Found 73 missed calls from Bianca. Didn't answer any of them. Then the texts started rolling in from her friends. "Jade, you're ruining her life over money. Gross. She deserves better than someone who judges her past. Kelsey, Bianca told us everything. You're financially abusing her." That last one made me laugh out loud. I'm financially abusing her by not paying her party debt. But then came the real kicker. A text from Bianca. "If you don't fix this with my parents, I'm telling everyone you hit me." Screenshot saved. Backed up to 3 clouds. That would be interesting considering I have security footage from my apartment showing I haven't been home in 48 hours. It was before that. The footage goes back 30 days. Try again. Then she tried another angle. "I'll tell your boss about your drinking problem." What drinking problem? The one I'll create evidence for. Screenshot saved. This girl was really showing her true colors now. Update 3. It's been a week since everything exploded. Bianca went from threats to love bombing to more threats. Her parents cut her off completely. They're making her move back home and get a second job to start paying the loans. But she wasn't done being entitled. Oh no. Tuesday, she shows up at my apartment with 3 suitcases. "I'm moving back in." "No, you're not. I have tenant rights. I've been living here. You're not on the lease. You have no mail here. You're listed at your parents' address on your license. I'll call the cops." "Please do." She did. Officers showed up, looked at the lease, only my name, checked her ID, parents' address, asked if she had any mail or bills here. "No, ma'am. You don't live here, but I'm his fiancée." Ex-fiancée, I corrected. The officers told her to leave or be arrested for trespassing. She left screaming about lawsuits. Wednesday, she tried a new approach, posted on social media that I was financially controlling and abusive, tagged my workplace. My boss called me in Thursday morning, showed me the posts. "Trevor, what's going on?" I showed him the forensic report, the text where she threatened to make false accusations, everything. "Jesus, you need a restraining order. Already filing for one. Take a few days off. Document everything. We'll handle any calls that come in." My company's HR department actually sent Bianca a cease and desist letter about the false allegations and harassment. Love my workplace, but Friday was when Roberto and Diane dropped their own bomb. They invited me over for dinner. Said they had something to show me. Turns out they'd hired their own forensic accountant. What he found was even worse than what mine did. Bianca had opened credit cards in her parents' names, 4 cards, $30,000 in debt. "We're pressing charges," Roberto said calmly. "For identity theft and fraud. She's your daughter. She was our daughter. Our daughter wouldn't do this to us." They also found out she'd sold jewelry Diane's mother had left for her. Told her parents it was stolen. Another $20,000. We're suing her for the $30,000 plus the jewelry. Our lawyer says we have a strong case. But here's the real nuclear part. Roberto owns a successful construction business. Bianca was supposed to inherit it. Was supposed to. I'm changing my will. Everything goes to my nephew now. She gets nothing. Roberto, maybe when emotions calm down. Trevor, she stole our retirement. She mortgaged our future on a lie. My wife is working at 65 because our daughter wanted designer bags. There's no coming back from this. They asked if I'd testify if needed. I agreed. Sunday yesterday, Bianca sent one last desperate text. Trevor, please. I'll do anything. I'll sign a prenup. I'll get therapy. I'll pay back everything. Just don't leave me. I love you. You love my earning potential. There's a difference. That's not true. We have 3 years together. 3 years of you lying about your debt while planning to make it my problem. Everyone makes mistakes. Mistakes. You committed fraud against your parents. Against me. That's not a mistake. That's a pattern. You're going to regret this. No one will ever love you like I do. I really hope that's true. Blocked her on everything after that. Final update. Been a while, but figured I'd give a final update since people keep emailing me. The legal stuff. Roberto and Diane won their fraud case. Bianca has to pay back the $30,000 in credit card debt, plus damages. She's been criminally charged with identity theft, likely getting probation and community service, but it's on her record now. She tried to sue me for emotional distress and breach of promise. It was thrown out immediately. I got a restraining order after she showed up at my work twice and my gym 4 times. The financial stuff. Her parents are no longer co-signers on her loans. They managed to get released after proving fraud. Bianca now owes $150,000 solely in her name. She had to sell her car, her designer goods for pennies on the dollar and move back with her parents. She's working 2 jobs, day shift at a marketing firm and nights at a restaurant. The social stuff. Most of her friend group dropped her when the truth came out. Jade stuck around for a month, then ghosted when Bianca asked to borrow $5,000. She's apparently dating some new guy. His friends reached out to me on social media. I sent them the forensic report and court documents. They thanked me. Her parents are in therapy. They're doing better, but still heartbroken. As for me, I kept the ring, sold it, donated half to a financial literacy program, and used the other half for a vacation. An actual vacation, not a $12,000 Dubai networking opportunity. Started dating someone new 2 months ago. First thing she did when we discussed becoming serious, showed me her credit report and student loan statements without me asking. $12,000 left from undergrad. I pay $400 a month. Should be done in 3 years. That's how normal people handle financial transparency in relationships. Roberto and Diane still invite me for dinner sometimes. They say I'll always be the son-in-law they wish they'd had. Diane started a support group for parents who've been financially exploited by their children. Apparently, it's more common than you'd think. Bianca tried reaching out once more last week through a mutual acquaintance. Said she's grown as a person and understands her mistakes now. The mutual acquaintance then mentioned Bianca asked if I could loan her $10,000 to help with her loan since it's partly my fault she's in this situation for exposing her mistakes instead of supporting her growth. Some people never change. But the best part, the country club where she put the deposit, they refused to refund it since she kenneled outside the window. That $5,000 her dad gave her for our wedding gone. She tried to dispute it with her credit card. Problem was, she'd used one of the fraudulent cards in her parents' name. When they investigated, it added another charge to her case. You literally can't make this stuff up. To anyone dealing with financial deception in relationships, trust, but verify. Always verify. Love shouldn't make you blind to red flags, especially when those red flags cost $150,000. Thanks for following this wild ride. I'm going to go live my debt-free life now.